Hello, this is Toronto Teddy doing part two of my life as a Carney. Some of you may find this boring to listen to, but to me it was one of my greatest achievements and one of the most fun times I had in my life being a Carney. I've been all across Canada, the eastern provinces, the western provinces, met a lot of interesting people, had a lot of great times. One of my fondest memories of being a Carney was when I worked on the Tilt-A-Whirl. There was myself, Sasquatch, and Caveman. Caveman got his name because he was kind of rough looking and scruffy. Basically, he looked like a caveman. Always dirty looking, but when he cleaned himself up, Caveman was one of the nicest looking men you'd ever want to meet. We played this spot one time in Ontario here. Some of you may know it, some of you may not. Some of you may know it from the song made famous by Stompin' Tom Connors. My back still aches when I hear that word, Tilsonburg. Well, while we were playing in Tilsonburg, this guy came up to the ride and his hands were all brown and he handed me his tickets and I said, no, buddy, I said, this ride's on me. He said, why? He said, my money and my tickets are no good here. I said, yeah, they're great. But I said, I don't know where your hands have been, bud. Well, he looked at me and said, you know what? Just because my hands look like I use them to wipe myself doesn't mean that that's what it is. He said, I work in the tobacco fields here in Tilsonburg, and he said, your fingers get like that. So this guy kept coming on the ride, enjoying himself. And at the end of the day, he came over to me and he said, you know, he said, I've met a lot of carnies and coming here to Tilsonburg to do the Tilsonburg Fair. He said, but you have to be one of the nicest and kindest ones I've met. He said, most of them are all rude and don't smile, don't talk, and don't try to get to know the people. He said, you're different. I said, oh, I said, thanks a lot, and I appreciate your saying it. Well, we had a week, no, sorry, 4 days of downtime. And me and Caveman decided that we were going to try picking tobacco. Well, let me tell you, the work as a carny is a lot easier than bending over and picking tobacco. That's for sure. If I ever had to choose another job in my life other than what I do now for a living and a part-time carny, it wouldn't be working in a tobacco field, that's for sure. Over the years, I've traveled many places. I've been to Edmonton, Calgary, Regina, Saskatchewan. I've been Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, PEI, all across the states. Been to all 52 states. Done every state fair that you can imagine. But the best state fair I have to say I enjoyed is the Texas State Fair in Fort Worth. The people are so friendly. They're caring. They're understanding. They're fun. They like to laugh. They like to joke around. They like to party. And it's just a great city. Other places I've been as a carny are Bahamas, Jamaica, Trinidad, Bermuda, uh, East and West Germany. I'll get into that some other time. Puerto Rico, and Cuba. My time in Cuba, that's not a very memorable time because there was a guy in Cuba that looked so much like me, it wasn't even funny. My first 4 days in Cuba, setting up, were okay. I got some sun down there and I enjoyed Cuba. But on opening day, the police come up to me and arrested me and were going to deport me back to Canada because I looked like this guy that was going around raping women. Well, I got a hold of my supervisor and I told him, I said, you better get the hell down here fast, man. And he said, where are you? I said, I'm in the Cuban jail. He said, well, what are you doing there? I said, well, there's this guy that looks so much like me. He's raping women down here and they think it's me and they're going to deport me. Well, lo and behold, my supervisor shows up 4 hours later. And he tells them, no, that, I'm here on a work visa and I've only been there 5 days now and it's impossible. It couldn't be me. Well, after talking for a few hours with the Cuban police, they finally released me. And I'm walking out the door, and in walks these two Cuban police officers with this guy. To be honest with you, he did look a lot like me. But the only difference was he had a scar that ran, I'd say, from corner of his eye here to about here. And I don't have no scars like that. So I've had some pretty good experiences and I've had some pretty bad experiences working with the carnival. But most of all, I loved it. It was one of the most exciting, most memorable times of my life. And if you've ever been around a Carney, you know that we're people too. Some people think that all we are is crooks and con artists and we're running from the law. But we're not all like that. Me, I was running from the law a few times, and when I went home during the winter time, I dealt with it, did my time in jail over the winter, and went back out and had some more fun as a Carney. And in closing, I'd like to say this. There may be a part 3 or a part 4 to this video. I'm not too sure. Depends on how many responses I get to what people think of my life as a Carney. So, I hope you like it. Comment, rate it, whatever. If you don't, that's fine too. But this is Toronto Teddy saying peace, love yous all from my heart. Goodbye to all my friends here on YouTube, and have a great day.